Racing tomorrow, both on and off the track. Now on BBC One Scotland and in high definition on BBC One HD, Jake Humphrey presents all the live qualifying action.
And this is how it looks from the sky. As you'd expect for British Grand Prix weekend, there are clouds in the sky, there's a bit of rain in the air as well, but that is the new look Silverstone. That's impressive, and so is a packed-out grandstand for the start of the British Grand Prix weekend, which is also something that we've come to expect here. You know, 70 years ago, this place was full of the wings of World War II bombers. These days, that is the wing, and it's all about looking to the future. As you can see, the aerobatic display happening just above it, once again creating a great atmosphere this weekend. And alongside me, two men who share 30 British Grand Prix between them. Those are the ones they competed in. They've seen a lot more, both as commentators and as fans. First impressions, I suppose. You've seen this place change a lot over the years. What do you think of the wing, Eddie?
Well, I think it's amazing because, first of all, we have to say it was a must. We had to have it to get the extension to contract. That was the most important thing, to give these fans what they rightfully deserve, a longevity in terms of Formula One racing. For me, the facility is amazing.
There's no question that this facility was necessary to appease Paddock Club and what the teams need and what the media need. But one thing that hasn't been lost is the great atmosphere here is created by all the public. And as you've just demonstrated there, the fans are ready for this. They've been queuing up here in the very changeable weather for the last couple of days. So hopefully they'll be rewarded with a classic British Grand Prix.
Yep, tens of thousands of them here in the driving rain yesterday. And finally, did we need this? Does Silverstone need to compete with the likes of Bahrain and Abu Dhabi and Singapore, do you think?
Well, absolutely. It's the home of not just British motor racing, but a home of motor racing worldwide, in my view. And Abu Dhabi have come, but they never replicate, or none of these other circuits can ever replicate, just like what Dave was saying. The fields, the atmosphere, just coming in here, not just the autograph hunters, but just the people with genuine passion for our sport.
Yeah.
That is very special, and you're not going to repeat that anywhere, in my view.
Absolutely. It is fantastic to be back home for the British Grand Prix. You know, it was right here where Formula One was born 61 years ago. And just like then, one thing hasn't changed: the atmosphere. Just ask the 300,000 friends that we brought along this weekend.
I gotta reach,
They're here in their droves, and you know that someone's powerful when they can build a building that impressive and the sun comes out for them right on cue. We're joined by Damon Hill, who of course won here in 1994 and is now the president of the BRDC. Damon, I said to you just then, how's your weekend been so far? And it was a blowout of the cheeks. Quite stressful was the answer. Stressful but successful, I suppose.
Very successful. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's up and running. It's bound to have a few teething problems. People are settling in. The terrain's all a bit different, but it's fantastic that we're here. We've got a long contract for the Grand Prix going forward, and all the people have arrived to see it. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Damon, very proud. Must be your best moment.
Well, I mean, actually driving is what I started out doing and ended up somehow being involved in developing Britain's premier motorsport venue with the BRDC, and it's been a really interesting experience, and it just shows you how much work goes into the organisation of this event.
Like Martin, you're a racing dad now. You go around with your son. If he was ever going to be Formula 1 driver in the future coming to his home Grand Prix, what words of advice would you give him?
Well, I mean, I was going to ask you that actually, David. I think I seem to be a bit out of date as far as he's concerned. He seems to know what he's doing, and it's a fantastic thing to be a racing driver. It's fantastic to race in front of your home crowd, wherever you are, whether you're Brazilian. But to be in front of your home crowd in Great Britain, the British Grand Prix is every British driver's dream, anyway.
I don't know. If you wanted to give Josh a few tips, perhaps just show him this footage from 1994 and remind him that once Dad was pretty quick, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, I give him a bit of... I try and remind him occasionally, but he's doing brilliantly, and it's not easy having a granddad who was a world champion and a dad, and then want to be a racing driver yourself. But that's fantastic, isn't it?
Crisp memories? Or is that you need that as a reminder, or is it very vivid in your memory?
I think, David, I mean, you get to the point where you forget you did it, actually, at one point. You know, you sort of move on, and when I look back at those images, it seems amazing to me that that's actually me doing it. I had to go in my 93 Williams Renault active car at Goodwood last weekend. It terrified the life out of me. I couldn't believe I actually drove it, but there you go.
It's interesting because Nigel Mansell's never actually officially retired, so I'm always thinking we'll come to a British Grand Prix and he'll be making a comeback.
Never know, do you?
Damon, I just make the point that we all know what it's like to have interfering fathers as a team owner and team principal. Are you an interfering father when it comes to your son's racing?
Well, I'm very mindful. It's a problem. It could be a problem. I don't want to get myself in a situation where I'm applying pressure on Josh. This is quite a common thing these days, is fathers' involvements in their sons' careers. It didn't used to be like that. In the old days, drivers used to go and be a racing driver against their parents' wills and wishes, and so they were rebellious people in that sense. And now, I don't know, it seems to be a kind of sort of semi-managerial role, but I have got advice, but I try to do it at arm's length.
OK, well, remember the name Josh Hill, and congratulations and well done. I know that this is just the first step on a big phase for redeveloping Silverstone, but so far seems to have been very successful, and as you say, the grandstands are full, and actually, regardless of the buildings, that's the main thing. So congratulations. Anyway, we all want a successful weekend. Damon does as well, as do the fans. Hello there, everybody. Everybody turning up here hoping for a weekend a little more akin to maybe Turkey and Canada rather than what we saw in Valencia a few weeks ago. Mind you, one man probably wouldn't agree with that, because once again, Valencia was just perfect for the defending world champion.
And they're off. Vettel looked a bit tardy off pole position. Webber's going up the outside. He's close in. The Ferraris are away. Massa with another tremendous start. And we got a big lock up there from Paul Di Resta.
Jensen gets up close. Great overtake from Jensen.
Michael exits the pits.
Well, it looked like he actually crossed the white line as well.
Straight into an accident. Just had a difficult lap, has Mark Webber.
Showing his frustration.
Heidfeld up against Perez. Oh, and contact.
Brave stuff going round the outside.
Look how close Alonso is now. He's diving around the back. Will Webber yield? He has to. Fantastic. Maldonado appearing to come from another racetrack somewhere, the other Valencia circuit. Traffic ahead. Oh!
Perez is not working. Well, that's not going to help his lap time. That will cost him.
Petrov and Kobayashi, no points or driver bonuses for that, I would imagine.
gearbox problem. We needed short shift.
We've said it before with Mark Webber. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all.
Fantastic drive, so brilliant. An utterly dominant performance yet again from Sebastian Vettel.
I love that little skip at the end, and look at this, it's like the parting of the seas, isn't it? And let's go for a bit of a walk and give everybody at home a chance to just get to know these rather new surroundings. We were all very familiar with the old pits and paddock complex, but this is all very new. But once again, the fans have turned out in their droves. Now, David, Sebastian said after that last win, I don't even know what the point situation is. I don't know how far behind me Jenson Button is. Well, we can show Sebastian, in case he's watching in the back of the garage before qualifying, that it is 77 points. Do you buy that, though? Surely he'd know exactly what the situation is.
Well, I think he would know exactly, but you've got to take what he said at face value. Maybe at that moment he wasn't doing the calculation, but he's a man that likes statistics, and it's very much his focus to make pole positions, fastest laps and race wins.
He will remember every single thing that he's ever done this season, and indeed other seasons. He will certainly know the gap in the points. And what he's saying is just trying to confuse us, because he's trying to give himself that comfort zone. Don't believe a word of it.
Yeah, looking at those standings, neither Red Bull nor Sebastian need much of a comfort zone, do they? Because they are streets ahead of everybody else at the moment. David, you drove in a period of big dominance. Michael Schumacher winning titles, winning races. This season's now been running for 18 weeks, and only twice has someone other than Sebastian won a race. How do you as a driver keep your motivation when the same guy just keeps on winning?
Because it's all about race wins. You know, you don't go and just win a championship in one weekend. You have to build it across the season. And statistically, Sebastian has a bigger lead now than any other driver in the history of the World Championship. So, in theory, this should be done and dusted. But there's a lot of Grand Prix racing still to be done, as we can see there. There'll be a few more twists and turns and regulation changes, that's for sure. And none of these teams stand still when it comes to development.
Well, if we can, let's try and keep our walk going and once again part through the crowds. Fernando Alonso has said that this has to be the weekend, that if anybody other than Sebastian and Red Bull want to get their hands on the title, they've got to turn it around right here this weekend. And when you see that there, we're pretty much halfway. We will be running out of races soon.
Well, we all know how astute Fernando is. We know this time last year he was 46 points behind and he hauled it back. I would say deep in the back of his mind, with the changes, with the engines and the diffuser system, it could affect positively Ferrari. So he's hoping beyond hope that this is the turnaround for him. If he was managed to win this race, he might swing the tide in his favour.
OK, well, one of the things that could cause the turnaround are the changes that the sports governing body have made for the cars. What they've tried to do is restrict the amount of exhaust gases being fed into the underside of the car, which then can increase downforce and make certain cars faster than others. However, this weekend, this has caused quite a lot of consternation. In fact, there was a real set-to by a couple of the team principals in one of the press conferences. However, we have now had a new ruling from the FIA just this morning, would you believe it? Ted Kravitz can bring us right up to date and explain the whole situation. Ted.
Well, this is an exhaust-blown diffuser, and this is how it works. What the teams do is that they take hot exhaust gas out of the engine, feed it down this channel here, and put it into the car. And that creates low pressure underneath the car and effectively sucks the car down onto the ground, because you've got fast-moving hot exhaust gas, and it comes through the diffuser here and creates downforce. Now, that was absolutely fine when the driver was on the throttle, but what it meant when the car was in the middle of the corner, the driver was off the throttle, he wasn't creating any exhaust gas, and the car suddenly lost downforce and got away from him in the middle of the corner. So what the teams have been doing recently was opening the throttle in the middle of a corner and creating that exhaust gas pressure, which gave the driver consistent downforce when he was off the throttle. That practice led to the rough engine sound we've been hearing recently. Indeed, in the wet, you can see pulses of air being blown out the side and under the car. But the sports rule makers, the FIA, had decided the practice had got out of hand and banned it. But in doing so, they've allowed the Mercedes engine cars to do a small amount of exhaust blowing, because Mercedes say that's just how their engines work. Red Bull and Renault feel it's not a level playing field and are furious at a decision they feel hands McLaren and Mercedes an advantage on track. Where is this going to end?
We'd clearly protest, because it would then be down to complying with the technical, regulations. So, it would be impossible to accept a clear and specific handicap.
We're not doing what we were doing, and we've taken quite a big performance hit in that fact.
McLaren have lacked downforce all season, so how will they rebalance their car when they lose the rear downforce supplied by the blown diffuser?
Well, you just take front downforce off.
But then you've got less downforce all round.
Yes, it's always the way. You've got to fight with it. We've developed this car around blowing the diffuser, so suddenly not blowing the diffuser when we're off throttle, it's a big difference. So we'll see how it goes.
Red Bull test driver Daniel Ricciardo now has a full-time F1 drive. Red Bull have paid Hispania to run the promising Australian in place of Narain Kartikeyan.
Any opportunity you can get in Formula One, you can't turn it down. At least not the stage I am in my career. So that's why I'm very delighted that Red Bull and Hispania Racing have come to a deal and given me an opportunity to race. I think that's great, and I won't look too far ahead. And hopefully I'm on the grid next year, and wherever I'll be, then I'm sure I'll be very content with that.
And finally, two teams have made big plans for the future. The famous pairing of Williams-Renault is back in F1 next season, and Virgin Racing will be using know-how and wind tunnel facilities from McLaren as they look to move off the back of the grid.
So the teams in the midfield and towards the back of the grid are looking to the future. The teams at the front are not thinking any further than this weekend. In fact, the latest news is that this morning a technical working group meeting happened, which involves all of the top teams trying to work out where they stand on this blown diffuser row. You can see there Ross Brawn from Mercedes Grand Prix making his way into that meeting, and there's Mike Gascoigne along with Tony Fernandez, who run Team Lotus. Now, they had a meeting. They have now emerged from that meeting. There's Stefano Domenicali from Ferrari making his way in as well. So let's find out the very latest. Ted Kravitz is with Christian Horner. Ted.
Well, Christian, give us the latest. What's the outcome of that technical working group meeting?
We're trying to find a solution. I mean, it's in nobody's interest to have, the lack of clarity that currently exists. So Charlie made an offer. Red Bull has also offered a concession this weekend, so to run as we are, but obviously we need all the teams to agree to move on and put this behind us, which hopefully we're not far from achieving.
So what does that mean? That you will run with a bit more exhaust blowing? You'll be allowed a bit more of a concession?
Here, no.
Here, no. Okay, so that will mean that you've got one arm tied behind your back as far as you're concerned this weekend.
At the moment, in our opinion, we are running at a disadvantage to some of our other engine manufacturers, but we're trying to find a solution that is cleared, moving forward to put this episode behind us. The most simplistic thing would be to go back to exactly where we were 2 weeks ago.
Okay, but they're not going to do that. And just to sum up, you're prepared to take that hit this weekend if we get it sorted for the rest of the season?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Christian. Back to you, Jake.
OK, Ted, thank you very much. Well, we're here in the pit lane, and you can see how busy it is all around us here. Now, these fans haven't turned up to talk about blown diffusers and what percentage you can run exhaust gases when you're off throttle through the cars. They just want to see exciting racing. But it is important to get this sorted out. I suppose, Eddie, it's just unsavoury that we're talking about this during a race weekend. There was a directive come from the FIA while the cars were on track.
Well, I find it totally confusing, and I'm supposed to know what's going on in this business. There was a very simple rule in my day, and that is you could not change the rules or the regulations during the particular season. And I just wish we'd adhere to those regulations. Don't know how they've been changed. This may seem like a clarification, but this is not clarification. This is, for me, blatantly giving an advantage to Ferrari because they don't have this system and they probably want it outlawed.
Just picking up off the back of that, the only way that you can make regulation changes during the year, and you lived through that, Eddie, was on the grounds of safety. And there's nothing about this regulation that would suggest it was anything to do with safety. It's just about the FIA being aware of certain rules being used to exploit aerodynamics in a way that wasn't done in the past. But it is a bit messy to be playing it out during the season.
Yeah, we saw lots of changes in the wake of Senna's death, but this is a very, very different situation. But as you heard there from Christian Horner, it looks like for this weekend, Red Bull will be slightly handicapped with their racing. We'll wait and see what that means when the cars make their way out on track for the start of qualifying in just about half an hour's time. Now, amongst the 100,000 people who are here today will be the very nervous Resta clan, because finally, Paul is racing in a Formula One race at his home Grand Prix. So we thought that we would send someone who's sensible, trustworthy, got great experience of racing around here to try and deliver him to work on time. Sadly, that man is also a little bit of a mischief maker.
To illustrate how close the Grand Prix track is to Silverstone Circuit, we're just going to walk over. We're not going to waste any money on a taxi. And you're young and fit, and I need the exercise.
We're going to get run over by somebody from the team.
This is the sign. I used to cross under this "Welcome to the British Grand Prix," and I used to get tingles.
You can just see your picture behind there, David.
Yeah. I was probably about the same age as you are now.
I think we should go and do a compare at the moment.
See how much I've aged. Yeah, thanks very much. Maybe we'll not do that. We've got a few of your fans here. You get a photo of the back of his head, actually. He's young, he's got a good ass on him, ladies, look at that. Come here, you take the picture.
And do you know how expensive he is?
Has anyone got a question for Paul?
What about the conditions this weekend?
Not ideal when you're a rookie coming here for the first time.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's everything I've ever dreamed of doing. You know, when you grow up as a young boy, not everybody gets the opportunity to do what I'm doing.
I think we need to get you over here. I know we're under pressure for time, so I think we've got to get you over to the paddock. Can we get a lift over the paddock? There you go, Paul.
Jim, I just got to go to the paddock, mate. I got Mr. Coulthard in the cab. I know you have. I saw you, aren't you?
Who said Grand Prix racing
exactly.
is glamorous? How much more glamorous does it get than this? Have you ever been in a truck before?
I haven't been in a truck for a long time. I haven't been in for a long time. I hope you're a good driver.
My family business is transport, so I kind of grew up in this position in a truck. This is where we spend our family holidays.
You missed me, you donut. I was on the left. Bridge and turn right. Yeah, I'm going over here and turn left. Turn right, don't go left, turn right.
Okay, I think we may have to walk the last part.
Yeah, I didn't realise you were up here. Joe, no! No!
Can you drop us at the gate? Because we don't want to use up Paul's energy. Well, there's one thing we can guarantee. You're the only Formula 1 driver to arrive at Silverstone in a truck.
Yeah, what a true gent. He's brought us over here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well driven.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'd send your CV into Force India because, you know, they might be looking for drivers. Whoa. We seem to be missing something. Hold on. I don't want you getting hurt. They're very expensive, these Grand Prix drivers. We can't have them hurt. You know, one big advantage of driving for one of the winning teams is you don't have quite such a long walk down the paddock to get to your hospitality. So if nothing else, that's got to be your motivation. Well, I can see your team manager there. We're going to wish you luck for the weekend.
Thanks
for
very
your
much.
time.
No, thank you.
I think we got them delivered back. We're only a minute late. That truck was a bit slow. Sorry about that. Good luck.
Yeah, that's right. Entirely the truck driver's fault, wasn't it, that you were a minute late?
He genuinely didn't expect us to hitch a lift with him, and he was getting all sorts of trouble from his boss. But very interesting to see how relaxed Paul is going into what is only his 9th Grand Prix and his first British Grand Prix. You'd think the pressure there to perform would be immense, but you know, he just seems so grounded.
And amazingly, he's only raced here 3 times in his whole career. There's his car being prepared behind us. One piece of advice from a 2-time British Grand Prix winner for Paul, what would it be?
Well, you've got to just attack the track like any other racetrack. If you consider the fact that you've got your family here, that you've got a lot of British fans wanting you to do well, then it just adds additional pressure. Yeah. So he just needs to continue doing exactly what he's doing and try and get in front of Adrian Sutil again in qualifying. Which
he's been managing to do pretty much every race weekend so far, only out-qualified by his teammate twice. So are the fans excited about Paul, about Lewis and Jensen, the whole experience? Let's find out. Eddie is just over there with quite a few of them. Eddie?
Indeed I am. I've just never seen so much involved people here and exciting, and I've just happened to meet this lovely girl. Where are you from?
I'm from Leipzig in Germany, but I live in London.
Okay. And your new facilities, do you like Silverstone now?
I love it. It's my first time though, but I have to say it's really gorgeous.
You're probably a Vettel fan.
I am. Who couldn't be?
How could she not be? I mean, Jake, over to you.
OK, thanks, Eddie. And something tells me that lady there is probably not camping out here this weekend. But about 28,000 people are, including many of the marshals who are here. And everybody says, and it's totally true, British marshals are the best in the world. And certainly in this country, club racing just wouldn't happen without them. Today is their day in the spotlight, their chance to be here at the British Grand Prix as well. And the good news is they've got a new recruit.
This is Thruxton, the fastest circuit in England. When it goes wrong here, it goes very wrong. But it's not only the drivers risking their lives for the love of motorsport. Spare a thought for the men and women in orange, standing in the line of fire. High time then for me to man up and join the volunteers to be a marshal for the day and stand side by side with the unsung heroes who make motorsport tick.
I'm usually in a presentation point over there with some headphones on. I haven't been this close to a circuit when actually a race is going on, ever. I'm quite excited, actually.
The most important thing is, whilst we're here on post, always watch the oncoming traffic.
Oh, is he going to let his guard? He's got him.
Watch out!
I barely saw Jason Plato as he lost control and crashed right in front of me.
Now, I know him very well, you know him very well, but this isn't a time to talk to a driver when he's just got out of the car.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'll tell you what they need to do. That is not on. I could have hit that.
Yeah.
That needs a rounded corner.
Okay, Jason.
That kills people, that does.
Yeah, I'll speak to the post chief about it. Yeah, I think he'll be quite upset with that.
I didn't expect to be doing manual labour as well.
That's all part and parcel of it.
So 2 races in and 1 heart-stopping moment. Next, I was seconded to Church, one of the fastest corners in the UK.
Whoa! He's giving it some.
Yeah, he does.
I just find myself naturally leaning this way.
Theoretically, you haven't got really a lot of protection. If something comes off, you've got...
Not theoretically, we haven't got any protection.
You have, you've got a tyre wall.
This was pure adrenaline stuff.
You're not tempted just to look over? No. Okay, so what are we doing up here? We're starting the race?
Yes. Well, we don't start it.
Oh, we don't? I'm very proud when I hold these up. I'm excited and proud.
Oh!
And they're off. Wow. Right, they're all away cleanly and we've got to go.
For the next race, I was allowed on the grid to fulfill a boyhood dream.
Normally, I'm the one being thrown off the grid. Now everyone else is off the grid, apart from me and you, Dorothy. Okay, you happy? Okay, here we go. It's incredibly noisy and they're gone, and I'm standing on a live motor racing circuit at the start.
The last race of the day, and events were suddenly about to get very serious.
Oh, what? Control, rescue 3, stand by. Rescue 3 scramble, rescue 3 scramble, start line.
Every marshal on the grid would be called into action. Thankfully, everyone was okay and we started the clear-up. Within minutes, the cars and debris were off the track, the oil slick cleaned up, and the racing could resume. All in a day's work.
Ted, I was president of the British Motor Racing Marshals Club for some years, and you could not be doing a better thing, because the British Marshals are the best in the world, they're the best trained, they're so enthusiastic, they do it all with their own money, to the extent that British Marshals are asked to go to places like the Monaco Grand Prix and all the others to help out there.
And of course, a big well done and thank you to all the marshals involved here at Silverstone this weekend and those that keep club racing in this country going every single weekend. And it's important, actually, that we shine a light on the great work that these guys do.
Well, without them, motor racing wouldn't exist, and they are absolute fans as well. But they are caring. They care about the safety, not just of the drivers, but they care about the people and the people who turn up, because they do an unbelievable job. I think they mentioned there about going to Monaco, but we see them in Singapore, we see them all over the world. They are absolutely state-of-the-art, these marshals. Brilliant people.
That should be the next thing that the three of us do. I think we look good in orange boiler suits, wouldn't we? But as we saw there, you've got to be a fireman, an engineer, and actually sometimes a counsellor to the drivers as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we can see Jason there after his incident. A marshal was going there obviously to check if he's okay. Jason sort of brushed him away. I would always suggest to a marshal, approach with caution a racing driver that's walking away from the car, because his adrenaline is pumping. He's just crashed the car. And you've got to presume if he's able to walk away, then whatever it is you need to ask him about a medical issue, I'd just give it a minute.
Yeah. OK, well, we've now arrived outside probably the busiest garage of the whole weekend. You can see the fans packed out here. This is the McLaren garage where Jenson and Lewis will be gearing up for qualifying today. Of course, Jenson Button hasn't had the best of times here at the British Grand Prix. Never made it onto the podium. He would love to have a maiden win here this weekend, wouldn't he? 100,000 fans all here camped out and desperately hoping that they can see some British success today. And I guess with that, there'll be probably 100,000 lenses trained on Lewis and Jenson. But these days, being a racing driver, as David will tell you and testify from his time driving, it's more than about just driving a car. Jenson and Lewis get to do all kinds of very strange things, including finally being behind the camera themselves.
And action.
Okay.
What's going on here?
I'm
How you doing?
Valentine.
You all right? Jensen.
Valentine, nice to meet you. I'm the stylist today, and
Okay.
guess you're the photographer.
With a photo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're cool, I'm good at that stuff.
You're kidding me?
You're doing everything. You're running the show.
Okay.
You're running the show. And
You're running the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're here for help, obviously.
No.
We never know what we're going to do before we turn up, which is actually quite good because we don't get time to think about it.
We had all these different features that we had to put together, and I was the photographer and Jensen was my assistant.
Lewis very quickly decided that he wasn't going to be no assistant to Jensen.
Well, Lewis needs to have the attention, so I thought I'd let him have it.
Which is kind of a bit like the way they race.
Is that for the waist?
Yeah, just to give you hips.
Is that to give you bigger boobs?
He helped pick out all the clothes, and he's definitely got a very, very strong feminine side Jensen has in real life.
He's dressing up and I'm taking photos of him, right?
Could
In high heels.
Yeah, I'm good to go on that one. You'd like to see me in this one.
He had a great keen eye for the makeup and the shoes and all that stuff.
What do you think?
That's just not appropriate.
I think Jensen had an alarmingly thorough knowledge of women's clothing.
Exactly how I imagined it.
He seems to know what he was talking about a bit too much.
I think maybe his girlfriend needs to be involved in that.
It actually worries me, you being my teammate, how close you are to your feminine side.
Wait, I like that bushy feel.
I really do like photography.
Just over this side, over this side.
He kind of knew what he wanted from the off, which was great.
It looks terrible, man. I reckon we remove it, apart from the horse.
The gnome actually didn't fit with the stallion, so we put the gnome aside so he could watch. And the gnome watched from the side of the...
Look, Jensen, show her the pose.
Show me the pose. I want to
Yeah,
see the pose.
right. It's a little bit naughty, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant.
But Lewis chose this one, though.
All right.
But it's like this, where you bum out a little bit like that.
Let me just get a picture of it. Let me show you how it looks.
I grew up watching Ayrton Senna, and in those days they didn't have these kind of things to do. It was just hardcore racing as well. Now it's a lot different. It's a lot more of a commercial world, Formula One now, compared to really what it used to be.
Can you see me?
Your head's in the shot, man. I'm trying to get out.
What was I doing? Alice in Wonderland
Leaning
pose.
against the table.
With a plastic rabbit next to me.
I can't say it's anything I've done before. It's quite exciting.
With a wind machine.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, you know, these guys have got vision, obviously.
Okay, that's it. It's a wrap.
The photos are really cool. I think they're really cool.
Hey, that's really cool.
That's not bad for my first my first photo shoot. Check that thing out, man.
What a lovely pose by Jensen. I guess he'd be liking the idea of posing on the podium, wouldn't he, at the end of this race weekend? But let's just talk about sort of project British drivers at McLaren, Eddie. We saw them getting on famously there. Is it something that you think has worked better than McLaren could have even expected?
Well, they've got two very distinct personalities involved, and I think they absolutely gel together. They actually enjoy each other's company, but there is a huge determination to beat his teammate. Don't you misunderstand that? That is absolutely very clear. But I would say they do work very well together. Nevertheless, we do see that in the past there has been a number one and a number two. I don't know.
What we should remind ourselves of is that McLaren have been going for 30 years in this current guise under Ron Dennis and now obviously Martin Whitmarsh. So 30 years ago they got the first victory here, and they've had so much experience of running like Prost and Senna together and many other great drivers. So they understand how to get the best out of two highly motivated drivers, and somehow they're always able to just put some cooling waters in any little tensions that build and allow the drivers to be individuals. So it's remarkable to watch how that develops during the course of the year.
Yeah, I suppose one bit of tension, though, that hasn't been diluted is this will they stay or will they go situation. Why doesn't Lewis just come out and say, I'm not going to leave McLaren, I'm happy where I am?
Well, that's the manager's job, to try and get the maximum out of its financial conditions and the contractual conditions. My belief is at McLaren you'll never ever get a situation where the driver would have a number one status. That would mean he would get, 1 horsepower mode if it was available and all that sort of thing. So I don't think you'll get anywhere down that route. But commercially, they'll always try and squeeze the maximum out of it. So the driver has to trust his manager. The manager's got to go and try and squeeze every last little dollar out of the team.
Eddie knows all about doing that, Eddie.
Well, I have a slight concern. And, you know, Lewis is now managed by 19, which seem to know a lot about pop music and movies and various other things. Very brilliant in that area, but I'm trying to figure out what do they actually know about motor racing and Formula One and world champions and that. And my guess is that they, in my view, should appoint somebody who actually has a huge knowledge of Formula One to assist them and help them in that particular road.
Okay, well, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say quickly, it's 2 separate things. One is the contract to get the best contract you can. The other thing, which I think is a very valid point that Eddie mentions, lifestyle management within the paddock. You know, how do you get the best out of yourself? Because ultimately you've got to deliver the maximum in that car every time.
The bad news is, Eddie, if either of them did leave McLaren, they wouldn't get the chance to wear the kind of overalls that I think even you would be proud of. What do you think of the outfits that they're wearing for qualifying this weekend? Lewis has got a new helmet as well. What do you make of this? Nice and colourful.
Well, it is colourful, and, you know, it's a really good marketing tool. The person who thought this up, it was well conceived, and I support it. We used to do all sorts of crazy things, like having snakes and all sorts of animals on the front of the Jordan car, which most people thought it was a lookalike like me, but we won't talk about that. But this is a remarkable coup. They're doing it for charity. It's a real worthwhile thing. I actually enjoy it, because I actually waiting to see what will they come up with next.
I knew you would like that. It's rather Jordan-esque, isn't it? But one man who perhaps is slightly scratching his head would be Sir Stirling Moss. They didn't wear outfits like that in his day, and you may have heard a few weeks ago that after a 62-year career, Sir Stirling has finally hung up his racing gloves. However, that doesn't mean that just sometimes he can put on that famous white leather helmet and take a trip down memory lane. Let's go. Oh, very nice. So here we are in the middle of Beckett's, just made our way around Maggots just there. This is one of the biggest tests of a Formula One car and a Formula One driver in the modern era. What was it like in your day?
Same thing. I must say, what was hard for us was hard for them, and vice versa. I mean, the great thing about Silverstone, why so many drivers loved it, was it had a lovely flow to it.
And what was this like in your day with such a lack of downforce compared to the modern cars?
Well, yeah, but we didn't know what downforce was, so we didn't miss it. I mean, you come into a corner like this, you back off, and you go as hard as you possibly could, getting the power down as early as possible. It's still just the same.
Let there be you. Let there be me. Let there be oysters.
We've just gunned it down the Hanger Straight. We've stopped here at Stowe, which is so called because behind the grandstands and the trees is Stowe School. Now, Stirling, you stand on the brakes at this point. As one of the famous late breakers in Formula One during your era, I bet you had a few tasty overtakes just here, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a great place at the end of the straight, because there's a fair amount of runoff if you needed to run off, but you can really brake really deep, and usually if the car looks a bit out of control, it slows the others up anyway, you know.
Well, here we are then on the newest piece of tarmac here at Silverstone, around Club, past the new Silverstone wing, through Abbey. We've stopped here at Farm. Now, if we just take a look behind ourselves, Stirling, we can see there the right-hander of Abbey.
Yeah.
Last year in qualifying, Sebastian Vettel took that flat 285 kilometres an hour.
Really?
Yeah. I know if you had your way, this would be the same circuit that it was in 1950 when Formula One was born in this very place.
Yeah.
But it's important to make changes. Do you think that they've managed to keep the integrity of Silverstone as well as bringing it up into the new era?
I think so. I think you'll find the modern drivers will like it, and that's a good thing. Already the motorcycles like it, which is really good, and now if the car drivers like it as well, that'll be wonderful.
Well, Stirling, we're in a car from 1961 on a circuit for 2011. How does the old girl cope?
Terrific. She feels really good, I tell you. I just wish I was younger to drive her faster.
But first of all, please let there be love. Let there be love.
Oh, what a guy. He never won here, but he did win twice at Aintree. As you can see, chatting away to Eddie Jordan already, Martin Whitmarsh from McLaren has joined us. Now, Martin, we want to talk about this weekend and the excitement of Formula One, but sadly, we first of all have to discuss blown diffusers, which is an incredibly exciting subject, but actually essential to Formula One at the moment in the performance of these cars. Can you first of all explain what has been decided for this weekend? Are all the cars running the same thing, and if so, what will they be running?
I'll try. The answer is I think everyone's going to be running the same thing. There is a limitation on the extent to which the throttles can be open, but inevitably when you change the regulations an hour before a practice session, or in this case even before qualifying, then there's going to be winners and losers. And I think you'll find that the drivers who are on the front row today will be probably pleased with the outcome, and I've got to say Ferrari looks more smiling than others as we came out of the meeting. And those that have fallen back will feel they've been disadvantaged. We've had very little running to change very fundamental characteristics of how the throttles work, how the engine braking works. Very, very difficult for the drivers. So some will dial in, get lucky, others won't. And it's a real shame that we're in this situation.
OK, so Ferrari, you think, are smiling. We've already heard from Christian Horner. Red Bull are frowning. They think they're running at a disadvantage. What does this do for McLaren this weekend?
Well, I'd probably answer that better after qualifying, but I don't think we're overly happy because I think it's very difficult to judge. We had very little running this morning. We're now frantically adjusting the car, and it's not just the exhaust settings, it affects how you put the brakes on the car, the style of the brakes, brake cooling. So the whole balance of the car is changed by this. So it all sounds very small, but actually some people will luck in and some people won't.
But Martin, it's all very unsavoury, isn't it? I mean, washing our dirty linen in public is just not on. You brought in the F-duct and it wasn't taken out of control. You were allowed to continue it for the season. And the same with the double diffuser. How has this happened?
Well, again, I mean, I personally feel that we've had blown diffusers now for 18 months, and the right thing would be to let it run to the end of the year. If people don't want it, reposition the exhaust, find some regulations, let people develop the cars. But clearly that's not what we've done. We've stumbled from one change to another and looked very untidy. So it does confuse people. It's not very satisfactory. And I think it's one of those occasions where we've got to go back and say Formula One can do a better job than this. We've got to learn from these experiences and do it better in future.
Martin, just moving on to the important part, which is coming up, qualifying. Putting all the diffuser thing to one side, how is your basic package here? Can people get a British pole position here? Can they see a British victory under normal conditions?
Well, in truth, we don't know. As you know, the factors we've just been talking about, it's all detail, but it's that detail that makes a difference. So, we haven't run as we're going to run in qualifying. We're frantically changing the car. If you go and look in the garages, the brakes are being changed, the whole setup of the car, the aerodynamics of the car are being changed to try and optimise. And we'll make the best guess. The engineers and the drivers between them have either done a good job or got lucky. They'll be happy in an hour and a quarter's time. Otherwise, they'll be deeply unhappy. And that's a real shame, I think. Hopefully, we can come out of it okay, but I'm not convinced we can.
And it may well play into your hands because it's probably fair to say your race pace this season has been much better than the way you've performed on Saturdays. Qualifying is really where, if you step up, you can start fighting Sebastian Vettel properly at the front there.
We do. I mean, we know we have to work on qualifying pace, but it's a challenge for us at the moment when this close to the qualifying session we're changing the car, but hopefully we can.
OK, well, I think you better make your way to the pit wall for the start of qualifying, and David, you'd better make your way to the commentary box as well, otherwise Martin's all left on his own. But thank you very much, and no, he's already gone. Thank you very much as well, Martin Whitmarsh. Right, not long now until the start of qualifying. One man, of course, has dominated qualifying and indeed the races all season long, Sebastian Vettel, and we've spied his new helmet for this weekend. This is a great little idea, isn't it?
Well, I went to see the new helmet, actually. I didn't believe how intricate it is, and each person's name on his team, absolutely, this is minute detail. The facts and the lengths that he's gone to do this is extraordinary, and great belief in himself to give back to the guys on the team. I love what he's doing here.
Yep, so that's Sebastian's helmet for this weekend, adorned with the engineers from his side of the garage. And this new diffuser row that's exploded, it may well make it a bit more exciting today because Red Bull have said they're handicapped and they've been so quick in qualifying.
Well, isn't that what we're all trying to do? Handicap Red Bull, bring them back into the fold. Are we not full of intrigue? All of these happened things before. Listen, I've seen it time and time again. It's a pity it's been done in such a public arena. It's also a pity it's been done in the middle of the season. So for me, let's hope there's no big disadvantage to anybody.
OK, well, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to disadvantage Red Bull so much that they fall out in the first part of qualifying. We're about to lose the 7 slowest cars. It's time for Q1 for the 2011 British Grand Prix with David Coulthard and Martin Brundle.